Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. There we go. That's better. My name's Rob. I'm one of the executives here. Welcome to DuePoint, and welcome to everyone who's live streaming from around South Africa. Tonight is a special evening. Tonight is not our normal intro presentation. We've got a slightly different format tonight. Something we call Throwdown Thursday. So typically what used to happen on Throwdown Thursday is Brendan and I used to argue, and then we'd have a wrestling match on the stage. I would win the wrestling match and Brendan would win the argument. But that was a bit disruptive to the presentation, so what we've done is no more wrestling on the stage. I'm going to go through the business opportunity. I'm going to tell you about DuePoint, and then I'm going to call Brendan up, and Brendan's going to discuss all those questions you have in your head, all those objections, those hurdles that a lot of us face when trying to come to terms with our own financial reality and with a business like this. Okay, so you ready? Only 3 hours long. Get the guests every time. Only about an hour. Normal presentation a little shorter, but this evening is a little bit longer. I'm sure you'll bear with us. And then Brendan will spend about 20 minutes with you guys. Okay, so we discussed the facts versus perception. Brendan will deal a lot with the perception later on and hopefully give you the facts so that you can interpret a lot of those questions that you have. But as I said, welcome to DuePoint. This is our head office here in Bryanston. We're actually a division of another business called Constantia Insurance Company Limited, and that's their logo over here, the little orange logo. Their office is in the background. They're actually based down the road from us in Randburg, and they are a registered insurance company in South Africa. Okay, they're not what we seem to think a lot of insurance companies are, like PMD or King Price and those. Those guys aren't really insurance companies. They're being underwritten by a business like Constantia. So Constantia is nearly 70 years old. You'll notice that we've got a whole bunch of licenses on display outside in the foyer above the water cooler. We've got a long-term insurance license, a short-term insurance license, an investment license, our FSP license. And as Brendan says, there's not many companies in South Africa that have got as many licenses as what Constantia does. So that's the FSP number we operate under. And at this stage of the presentation, you need to feel fairly safe and trusting about the business that you're getting into a partnership or potentially getting into a partnership today. So it's a good idea. If you want, go Google Constantia, find out who we are. We're actually listed on the stock exchange under another business. These are the individuals, the executive team and the management team here at DuePoint. The three people on the far left are all registered chartered accountants in South Africa. That's what they're not talking to Jane and I. Can you see they're ignoring us a little bit? That's what accountants do because they talk in numbers. Our senior executive, Brendan, he's here tonight and he'll be speaking to you later. He has a lot of experience in financial services, particularly insurance, because his father's been in insurance all his life, and him and his brother Stuart got insurance policies as birthday presents when they were growing up. And their father was the person that founded Clientele Life. And that in turn founded the IFA. Some of us know who the IFA is. His father's a professor of insurance, taught at Wits for 25 years. And so Stuart and Brendan have grown up with insurance all around them to the point where they founded PMD, Prime Meridian Direct, which is a very successful short-term insurer based down the road. And you'll see they're advertising all over the place. So we're very lucky to have someone like this leading the ship, as it were. Then our second CA is Tim. Tim has been downgraded from a cushy office job in Sandton, where he's working directly beneath the CEO of the First Rand Group, to operating our video stream technology. But yes, he was working below the CEO of the First Rand Group. It's a company that owns Rand Merchant Bank and FNB, very large banking organization. Very lucky to have Tim join us here in the team. And then Stacey's worked here and abroad. She recently, or a year ago, came back from overseas. She was working in Luxembourg at Deloitte, and we convinced her to join us instead of one of these big banking groups. So those are the three accountants. If they smile at you, they're not really smiling at you because they're not really happy, but smile back, and we encourage them to be a bit more social. Okay. The two social people in the business, Jane and I. So poor Jane is sick at the moment. She's got a detached retina or something. She had emergency surgery today. So if you see her, wish her well. She's going to be fine. A little blind in the one eye, but she'll be fine. You only need one eye, really. She's fine. I'm only kidding. But Jane comes to us from overseas too. She is from York in England. She's got a very Yorkshire accent, still after being here for 10 years. And she's got a lot of experience in direct marketing and direct selling, which is fundamental to this business. So she's a great asset to the team. And then me, tell everyone, all the wealth engineers know, I'm the tallest and the best looking out of all of them. And I come from the industry of marketing and advertising. Surprise, surprise. So I started a digital agency probably about 20 years ago. I ran that with two partners for about 17, 18 years before I left the business and joined Brendan. And then we started DuePoint a year ago. And we worked on a lot of different financial brands in my business. So I've got a little bit of knowledge about numbers. So I'm not too bad in the business. But that's the team. Very diverse backgrounds, different abilities. Purposely brought together by Brendan, and our mandate here in this business is to make sure that our wealth engineers are as effective and successful as possible in this business. Isn't that a wonderful mandate from your perspective, right? To have people that you're potentially getting into business with that has a common interest to see you succeed in this endeavor. Okay, and you're welcome to speak to any of us. We don't hide in our offices, and I'll touch on that a little bit later, but that's the team. So, on to you guys. How many guests do we have here this evening? Say aye. How many people that have been dragged here is someone's boss? Say aye. Oh, we got 1, 2. Great. How many mother-in-laws have been dragged here? Okay, so why have you been dragged here? Some people arrive here nervously. Some people arrive here fairly excited. But the premise, I would assume, is to make more money, right? The financial opportunity that's been hinted to you, I would assume. It's to make more money. To put it bluntly, we are here to make more money. If you're not here to make more money, you're in the wrong place. And I always send everyone, the people that aren't here to make more money, to the bar on the 3rd floor next door. You can go have a drink and wait for the presentation to be over. But that's it. So there are a couple of factors that kind of drive us to this need to want to make more money. Some of us need to make more money. Some of us want to make more money. But that's irrelevant because there are a couple of factors that affect our financial situation in South Africa. The one is the economy, and I don't like to harp on too much of the economy because it's so negative, right? How many people have stopped reading the newspaper and stopped listening to 702 because it's just negative, 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 negative. You get to work in a bad mood if you listen to 702 on the way to work, right? So our economy is in dire straits. 2016, the economy was flat. There was no growth in South Africa. Companies weren't expanding. A lot were actually regressing. They were getting smaller, right? And we see that play out in a whole bunch of different aspects. So everyone knows, or the wealth engineers at least know, that I'm married to a lady who's a labor litigator for the biggest private employer in South Africa. She oversees 160,000 people from a labor regulatory point of view, which means part of her job is overseeing all the retrenchments. And when you run one of the biggest companies in South Africa, you see a lot of retrenchments rolling through their doors. So it's a multinational mining business. We all know the mining industry is under a lot of duress at the moment, right? And the economy is affecting that. Not only mining, lots of industries are being affected. And we often think, we default to the thought that, you hear about mining retrenchments, it's the little guy getting retrenched at the mine. Shame, the little guys, they're earning the least amount of money. They're the ones getting retrenched. Let me tell you, it's not them that's only being retrenched. The entire business is being retrenched. From the rock driller all the way up to MDs, CEOs getting retrenched. So it affects all of us. The economy is affecting all of us. And we seem to be, as South Africans, fixated on the fact that we have the security by our employers, right? We think, I've got a job, I'm fine. I'm fine. Those poor other people getting retrenched. Let me tell you, my wife has retrenched people at her head office that she works with. I'm talking about professionals with 1 or 2 professional degrees, guys that have done well at school, probably went to good schools, got into university, did professional degrees. I'm talking about geologists, doctors, accountants, lawyers, in middle age, being retrenched. They got retrenched this year, last year, 2016. right? It affects everybody. So that's the one aspect, economy. The other aspect is this 4-letter word that affects all of us from a financial point of view. Can you see the 4-letter word? What is that 4-letter word? Yes. Debt. But you love debt. You do love debt because you have so much of it. Why do you have so much if you don't like it? South Africans love debt. The average South African spends half their salary repaying debt. Half, 50%, right? That's the average. That's the average person. Some more, some less. But on average, 50% of your money every month is spent on repaying debt. Okay? And we are afforded debt the moment we typically earn a salary. So there's your salary. Now think very far back to your first salary. It typically got put into a bank account. And when it got put into a bank account, the bank saw this potential client. And they offered you a whole bunch of services and products. A lot of those products are debt instruments. Some are investments. And these are some of the debt instruments that South Africans engage in. Credit cards. How many credit cards do we need? The wallet has got 3 slots in the front. You need at least 3. And then to save you embarrassment, it's got some hidden slots at the back that you can put the 4th and the 5th credit card in. Okay, so we've got a lot of credit cards. For emergencies, we tell ourselves. Cars, about 10 million cars on the road. 10 million. Only about 35% are insured. Okay, but what a liberating thing to own is a car. Have your own transport, do what you want, go where you want. Okay, a lot of South Africans there. Typically, 5-6 years, you pay back the bank. No one buys cars cash, right? We always buy the most expensive car we think we can afford. Home loans, the same thing with home loans. Everyone takes out a 20-year loan. Everyone. You want to get the biggest house you can possibly afford for the next 20 years that you're going to be repaying the bank back. Okay, so those are some of the debt instruments. Now remember, I told you that we're spending 50% of our salaries repaying back debt. Those are the typical debt instruments. Never mind personal loans and educational loans. Okay, and the money left over, that other 50%, we're spending on other stuff. The cost of living. Groceries, very expensive. Traveling, very expensive. Petrol, right? Maintaining a car, petrol, services, all of that. Sending your kids to school. Education is becoming a very lucrative market in South Africa. You see all these private schools jumping out of everywhere, offering people, send your kid to this school, send your kid to that school. You have to get your kid a good education. Why? Why am I so worried about the school that my kid goes to? Because the job market is so competitive. So competitive. Even my peers, everyone seems to be doing MBAs at the moment. It's like 250,000 Rand to do an MBA. But they're all doing it because they are scared. Not because they really want to do an MBA, because they're scared. They want to be more competitive. They don't want to be the person getting retrenched. Okay, so we spend money on education, groceries, petrol. Hopefully you're saving some of your money every month. You're putting it towards your retirement. What else do we spend our money on? Health, yes. Medical benefits. Right, so we have what we're spending. The other 50% of our salary goes towards these costs. The problem is, when we look at debt, it is affected by the interest rate. When the interest rate goes up, your debt becomes more expensive to maintain. Your bond payments suddenly become more expensive. The car payments become more expensive. Your personal loans become more expensive. Everything goes up. Now you've got less money for groceries, less money for kids' education, less money for travel, less money for holidays. And what we see is that South Africans start compromising on insurance, typically, and on investments. Okay. So this is the situation we find ourselves in, and this leads me back to why you're here, to make more money, to get yourself out of this situation. Okay. Now there's another little aspect that complicates our lives terribly. It's called retirement. Anyone thought about retirement this month? Even if it's 20, 30 years ahead. I hope you thought about it this month because you should have made a payment into a retirement annuity. So this is some data that Tim kindly sent me last year. You can see it was published on the Fin24 website. And they make claims about retirement planning, which is predicated on the mortality rate. So the mortality rate's increasing all the time. It means we are living longer and longer and longer every year, right? Health is improving every year. Research, all that good stuff, improving. And we're living now longer and longer and longer. So now when you retire at the age of 65, how long do you think you're still going to live without a job? 25 years? 30 years? They reckon kids being born today, their mortality rate is sitting in excess of 100 years of age. 100 years. So if they retire at 65, they've got to support themselves for 35 years without employment. Okay? So this data makes these claims. How much money do you have to save? So if you're responsible, if we have any 21, 22, 23, maybe 25-year-olds in the audience, this is what you need to do because you've got time. Because this data says, okay, you've got 40 years. So if you've got 40 years and you want to retire with 5,000 Rand a month, if you can survive on that, you only have to put 800 Rand a month away. That's reasonable, you think? 800 Rand a month just to afford 5,000 Rand a month once you're retired. You've got to put that 800 Rand away for 40 years at a 7% annual increase. Okay? But no one looks at the 5,000 Rand. No one can survive on 5,000 Rand. I want 26,000 Rand. How much do I need to put away every month to have 26,000 Rand a month once I retire? I only have to save 5 million. And if you're 25, that's not a problem because you've got time. So you need to save 4,000 Rand a month to be able to have that coming into your account once you're retired. Can you see how preposterous this data is? It's frightening, right? Do you know how many South Africans retire financially independent? So retire happy. The percentage. 2%. 2%. So we got a room here with about 100 people in it. 2 of us are going to retire financially independent. The rest of us, we're going to go cry to those other 2 people. Right? But in reality, what happens? Because when you retire financially dependent, what does your life look like? Now you're crying to your kids to help you. You have to downgrade your lifestyle to a massive extent. It's probably very stressful. You think you're going to enjoy your retirement? You're going to be fighting for survival when you're retired. Okay. So we don't see this data as realistic, or at least as a plausible solution, because it really isn't. But the next 40 minutes, hopefully we're going to give you a very plausible solution. Okay. Out of that, we saw the need for South Africans to be able to change their situation financially, to empower themselves, to be able to get involved in something that can turn our futures around. Because our futures, for 98% of us, do not look great. So the DuePoint system was born. Okay? We have 3 aspirations for our wealth engineers. So if you become a wealth engineer, I want to see 3 things happen. The first thing is I want to see you become debt-free. Completely debt-free. You own your house. You own your car. You pay the school a year in advance. No other credit cards. Maybe some credit cards, but just to flash private bank. But positive balances on your credit cards, right? I want to see you start creating value, wealth in something that you own. An investment that gets bigger and bigger and bigger every month. That's what I want to see. And if those 2 things happen, something magical will happen. You will reconnect with your dreams and aspirations again. Call it happiness. You will be happy. If you've got no debt in your life and you've got money that's growing, you'll be happy. You won't be stressed at the end of the month. We all know about financial stress because it is the end of January. We're actually probably all relieved because you've just been paid. Right? We suffered the last 3 weeks because we spent all our money in December. Kids want to go on holiday. They want presents. So those are the 3 aspirations that we have for our wealth engineers. How does it happen? Well, our guests here this evening, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint. You contract with us. And when you contract with us, we call you wealth engineers. And as wealth engineers, we want you to do one thing, and that is to go out and build what we call channels of distribution. And into these channels, DuePoint, Constantia, us, we will sell our products into those channels. And that's basically how this whole system works. What are the benefits? Well, The first one is an additional income stream. You get to create a second income for yourself. This is the only way you're going to pay your debt off any faster than what you're currently doing. If you've bought the house that you can just afford, the car that you can just afford, how are you going to change your situation? You're going to have to wait for 20 years before you pay your house off. So an additional income stream allows you to change that, right? You're able now to start paying off your debt faster than what you currently are. We create recurring income for you. You create residual value in these channels that you build. What is that? It means the effort that you put in month 1 doesn't only pay you at the end of month 1, it pays you again at the end of month 2. Even though you do nothing in month 2. It could pay you again in the end of month 3. The primary reason I got out of my business because we didn't create any residual value in my business. We had no recurring income. I had to work the same amount of hours every single month to create the same amount of turnover because we sold our time. So if I worked for 160 hours in January, it paid me at the end of January, great, but I started at 0 on the 1st of February. I had to work again 160 hours to get the same amount of money. There was no residual income. My father said to me when I was young, get into a business that pays you when you're sleeping. I thought he meant I must go buy shares in something. I don't know what he was talking about. But this is it. This is what insurance companies do. They create residual value in the books that they own. Creates recurring income. Okay? You're leveraging your time. This business also allows you to leverage time and the people around you. Power of duplication. These channels that you build are actually teams of people that you get to collaborate with. So if you have limited time, like we all have, and you can only spend a few hours a week on DuePoint, imagine a team of 10 people, all spending 2 or 3 hours on DuePoint. Now collectively, you've got 20, 30 hours being dedicated to DuePoint for your own financial benefit. You get to reap the financial benefit of that collaboration. Okay? This is the way CEOs make so much money. They're leveraging all the employees that they have. We all have the same amount of time in a day. You can't change that. But if you start leveraging other people, you start to create more time for yourself. Flexi time. You're completely accountable to how much time you spend in this business. If you do nothing, I'm not going to phone you and shout at you. You won't hear from me. What happens if you don't go to work tomorrow? Written warning. You won't get a written warning from me, right? You guys are accountable for your own time in this business. I'm not going to chase anyone, but you get to dictate your own time, okay, to suit your schedule. No startup capital. It's a very low-risk endeavor. We're not going to ask you for a joining fee. There's no product we're going to ask you to buy that takes up room in your boot. 10,000 Rand worth of stock. There isn't any of that. There's no 12-month or 24-month contract that we lock you into. It's a very low-risk endeavor. No qualifications or experience required. Tell the story of when Brendan asked me to come join the business, and then only once I joined, he told me I had to go do more qualifications and write FSB exams. I wasn't happy about it. I hadn't written an exam in 20 years. Now suddenly I found myself studying again. You guys don't have to worry about any of that. Okay? So it's accessible to everyone. You get to build an asset. Very important benefit. Because if I ask you to commit time to this business, at least you have ownership over these channels that you're building. And they're seen as legal assets. So you can move it into a family trust. You can sell it. You can seed it to your kids if something happens to you. You get too old, you can give it to your kids. Right? Treat it as a legal asset. No selling involved. I don't hear any whoops or yays. People hate selling. Right? People hate selling. There's no selling involved here. None at all. And because they're financial products, they're intangible products. They don't take up any space in your boot, like I said. You don't have to argue with your spouse to try to find space at home to store them. There's no expiry date. They don't start to smell after 6 months. Our products are wonderful. So we make this business as simple and as easy and convenient to get involved in as possible. Okay? Who's thinking, what on earth is a channel of distribution? Let me show you. So it begins with you. So that's you, you're a guest, and suddenly become a wealth engineer tonight. And you love Rob's presentation so much, and you see a vision of the future, and you go out and tell people about the DuePoint opportunity. Acquaintances, friends, colleagues, family, whoever. And you're successful in getting 5 of them to join DuePoint and take out a product. That is the beginning of your channel of distribution. Those people go out and do the same thing. Your friends go do, they also want to build their businesses, so they go do the same thing. And your channel begins to grow and grow and grow. Can you see the organic nature of the growth? This is power of duplication happening in front of you. How much time and effort did it take to introduce those first 5 people into the business? This is leverage. That's you, the CEO of your channel. So after a certain amount of time, this is what your channel could look like. And after a day or two, this guy that you have no idea what his name is, who he is, 4 or 5 of his friends will join. Can you see how you can make money while you're sleeping? Okay, so this is channels of distribution. My disclaimer slide. Look at the ballerina's feet. Can you see at the back? One beautiful ballet pump over here. My 4-year-old daughter is doing ballet. And one nasty looking foot over there. People have come to this presentation this evening assuming it's one of those schemes. You can nod because I know there's a lot of you. It's one of those schemes, right? This is a 70-year-old financially regulated business. Do you really think we would get involved in some scheme? The individuals involved in this business, do you think we would get involved in some scheme? It's not a scheme. This is a legitimate business opportunity, an entrepreneurial opportunity. And if you've ever had the pleasure of trying to start your own business, you will realize how difficult it is. Very difficult to succeed. Actually, a lot of people can start businesses, but to succeed in a business is very difficult. That's why a lot of businesses fail. So when I say to you, I have a business opportunity available for you, I need you to treat it as such. Don't think of it as some scheme. Don't think you're going to be rich next month. Don't think it's going to be easy. You need to put in time and commitment into this business. Effort. You've got to get over the frustration you're going to experience. There's going to be a learning curve. I'm going to ask you to change your personality in this business. And if you embrace all of that, and you set your sights out at 3 years, at 5 years where you want this business, 10 years even, you'll be a lot closer to success. Okay, this is my disclaimer slide. I don't want you thinking there's some scheme that's going to make you rich in the next few months. It's not going to do that. Okay, let's talk about the money, how we pay our wealth engineers. We call them returns. So at the end of every month, we'll pay you returns based on your channel. That's you there. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product that we place in your channel. Remember, you introduced those first 5 people that we were able to place a product with. That's the beginning of your channel. Those people lie on your first point. They're 1 point away from you. And on your first point, we pay you double the R27.50. So for every product that you see there, we pay you R55 for each product. Remember, it's recurring income. We pay that to you every month going forward. Okay? Your friends go out and they find friends of friends because they're doing the same thing as you. Those people lie on your second point. They are 2 points away from you, and again, we pay you double the R27.50. So you're getting now R55 for all of those products every single month. 2.3, 2.4, all the way down to 0.8. See the multiplier drop to 4%? What's important to note is that from 0.8 onwards, you get paid that 4% of the R27.50. We don't limit you on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. So in other words, we don't limit you on how much money you can make at DuePoint. You could be here for the next 20 years. I want to see you reap the benefit of all 20 years, of all the effort that you've put into this business. So this is the mechanics of our returns. I think it's fairly straightforward. So you might think that's great in theory. Well, those clever accountants put together a growth model for us. The growth model shows you how much money you could be earning in time. Okay, it's based on what we call the 3+2 growth formula, which means you join in February, bring 3 people, put them into DuePoint. And then every consecutive month, you only have to bring in 2 people. That's why we call it 3+2. Okay, you can do more than that. It's only an example. You can do more than 3+2, or you can do nothing. Then you 0 plus 0. And then you're going to earn? 0. Exactly. So this is based on 3+2. Not that onerous, right? Duplicate that into your channel, and we take into consideration people that don't have money in their accounts, people that cancel, people that don't build the business. You can expect 2,500 rand after 6 months of being at DuePoint. I don't see any smiles. I don't see any frowns. Is 2,500 rand worth 6 months of work? Remember, it's recurring income. You could take the seventh month off and probably still earn 2,500 rand. But let me give you some context to 2,500 rand, especially when we look at it from the point of view of that 4-letter word, debt and compound interest. Here we have an example of someone with a 1 million rand bond. They've gone to the bank. They said, found a beautiful townhouse for 1 million rand. Please, can I have some money? The bank said, sure. You pay me back 11,000, 12,000 rand a month for the next 20 years. The house is yours. So you agree. And now you're at DuePoint. 6 months later, you're earning 2,500 rand. Instead of spending that on lunch or pretty shoes, you put it into your bond. Remember, I want to see you become debt-free. So you put the money into your bond. It's going to reduce the term from 20 years down to 11.5 years. That's 8.5 years that you don't have to pay 11,500 rand. I've just saved you 1 million rand in repayments. 1 million rand on a 1 million rand house. And you were probably thinking in that first slide about retirement, how will I save 5 million rand or 1 million rand? 2,500 rand can do that for you. You can be a homeowner 10 years sooner than what you would have been. Do you know that the average South African only starts saving for their retirement when they're in their 50s? It's a bit late, don't you think? It's because he's only finished paying his house off. He's only finished getting the kids out of school and through university. And now for the first time he's got money. And he realizes he hasn't put enough away for retirement. And that's what we find South Africans doing. Here you can start putting more money away nearly 10 years sooner than what you would have. Pay your debt off quicker. After 12 months, you're already at 9,000 rand. Over 100,000 rand a year now. After 24 months, you're nearly 30,000 rand. Okay? You keep going. 36 months, 50,000 rand a month in recurring income. You want to look at the bond example? Now you're a high roller. You go for a 5 million rand house. You put what you're getting at DuePoint at the time, after 30 months, 36, 37,000 rand, put it into your bond. You'll reduce the bond term on that 5 million rand house from 20 years down to 7 years. 7 years, you pay a 5 million rand house off for that. So I love the example because it's relevant to me because I'm 40 at the moment. I know I don't look 40. 25, 26. Okay, that wasn't funny. But I've got 20 years left until early retirement at 60. So call retirement 61. That's 21 years. How many times can I pay this house off in 21 years? 3 times. I can buy 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand by the time I'm ready to retire. I live in one, I rent the 2 out. 50, 60, 70,000 rand a month for 2 houses. Or I just sell all of them and buy one 15 million rand house in Cape Town on the beach. Does that not sound like a better retirement than saving for 40 years hoping that I don't get retrenched in the process so that I can get to retirement and then earn what? 26,000 rand a month? Okay. I hope the writing's on the wall for everyone. After 48 months, you're nearly 70,000 rand a month. After a short 60 months, that's 5 years for the non-accountants, we're at in excess of 1 million rand annually. 1 million rand annually, over and above what you're earning at your day job. At what stage do you start caring less about what your boss is telling you? Hey? Because you're going to start getting itchy somewhere along the line here. when he comes in the office and says, why are you late? Take your job. Tired of doing presentations, I'm going home. This is the liberation we give you. This is the freedom of choice that we give you in this business. Okay? And again, you might be thinking, well, this is just theory. We have got wealth engineers that are doing more than 3 plus 2. I told you 3 plus 2 is only an example. Yeah, Sandra, she owns her own business. I think she's running 3 businesses. Don't tell me you don't have time. Speak to Sandra. She's doing DuePoint on top of all of that. She's doing more than 3 plus 2. And last month, she won 100 gigs of data for the next year. Okay? We have a pastor. He says DuePoint is the good news. Well, not the good news, but it's good news. At nearly 4,000 Rand a month already. They're doing more than 3 plus 2. Tabi Singh works for a very big insurance corporate. She saw the value of this business. She realized what her future was looking like, depending on a single source of income, depending on an employer, and depending on the economy in South Africa. All undependable. Trying to change her future. We have got hundreds of wealth engineers that are earning money with DuePoint every single month, changing their circumstances, trying to take control over their circumstances. 36,000 a month, is that enough for you? So it's not theory, guys. The system works. The system works. It only requires time and commitment, that's all. Don't have to have a degree in human behavior to make this business work. It's time and commitment. Okay. So that was the returns. That's what we pay our wealth engineers every month. We have something over and above that. We call it the XP Rewards program. It's like an incentive program that we have that rewards success here at DuePoint. All these little bits floating past you, these are what we call XP quests. They're tasks that wealth engineers typically engage in. Log into the website, come to an intro presentation, bring a guest, build your business, do a presentation at home. And when you do all those things, we give you XP points. And when you start to gather all these XP points and you start to have success in your business and your channel starts to build, we reward you along the way. Right? We're paying you returns, plus we give you rewards. So here's the whole table. If you join tonight, you will be a rank 0 wealth engineer because you've done nothing. But within 24 hours, you can become rank 1. Quite easily. Rank 1 in 24 hours. And when you rank 1, we give you 55 Rand on top of the 220 Rand we'll be paying you at the end of the month. And then you get more points, and your channel becomes a little bigger, and the rewards get bigger. Now you get a 100 Rand bonus. 400, 1,500, 20,000, 50,000. We give away tools to make you more effective at being a successful wealth engineer. As Patrick and Pumi at rank 5 with their lightning memory stick, all our video collaterals on that memory stick. Everything. It's USB 3, it's very quick, it plugs into everything. Phones, tablets, laptops, computers, Android, Apple, banana. It plugs into everything. Into everything, so that you can show the DuePoint opportunity anywhere, anytime, right? You see, we want to see you being effective. Rank 7, here's Donnie with his premium, luxurious business cards. Cost us 12,500 Rand to get these made. There's no printing that happens. This is gold being foiled onto his business cards. They're 4 times thicker than any business card. The printer is a very big printer in Johannesburg, one of the biggest printers. It's never seen anyone get business cards like this. You go to a meeting with the CEOs, top CEOs of South Africa. Guess who's going to have the best looking business card on the table? People haven't heard of DuePoint. But if you put a 12,500 Rand business card in their hands, they're going to want to know who is DuePoint, right? These are tools to make you more effective. This is the one everyone gets excited about. Rank 9. Rank 9. You can do this in less than 12 months. Do you want to see what rank 9 is all about? The picture doesn't do it justice. Hopefully this will.
stand where no one can see. You stand, don't let the dark embrace. Cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
Rank 9. Does it look good? It does look good because it's 7 days away, all expenses paid for you and your kids, business class flights to a 5-star hotel on the beach this year in Mauritius. Everyone wants to get to rank 9. Everyone. But you have to get to rank 1 first. You have to get to rank 1 first. You can get as excited as you want about rank 9. It's there to get you excited. But for our guests, you have to get to rank 1 first. Right? But an amazing, amazing privilege to go on a holiday like this. When you take your kids on a business class flight to a beach for one time, I promise you they're going to be asking you a week later, when are we going on that holiday again? And you can tell them we're going next year again. Okay? So it's rank 9. You saw how big the table was. Rank 9, you're only getting warmed up. Right? You're only getting warmed up at rank 9. Rank 11. Do we want to see you debt-free? When you're not paying for your own car, you'll be closer to becoming debt-free. You know what was in the blank spot there in the top left corner? The cougar. The whole building nearly fell down, burnt down. I hope there aren't any cougar owners. Okay? You get a car, we give it to you. No terms and conditions. Get to rank 11, we pay for the car cash, it's yours. It's yours. No DuePoint stickers. Just a little figurine of Brendan on the dashboard with the bobblehead. Reminding you, just a reminder. Okay? And we have another incentive. This one's got a time limit on. Those others don't have time limits. You can take 10 years to get to rank 9, but you can do it in 12 months. Easter weekend. 4 days away, the most expensive holiday time of the year for South Africans. Would you like to go on 4 days away? 5-star boutique hotel, your whole family, business class trips, flights again, down to the Cape, to Constantia, one of the most beautiful places in South Africa. Get to dine at Michelin star restaurants for 4 days. You only have to put 350 products in your channel before the end of March. Before the end of March. Our wealth engineers that are going for this, I remind you, there's no holidays, there's no breaks. You get to 350, you push past 350. Keep going. Okay? It's going to be an awesome 4 days away. Okay, everyone thinks we're spending far too much money on our wealth engineers. Let me briefly explain our business model, and it'll make sense to you. Traditional insurance companies, most companies actually, engage in traditional marketing, like TV advertising, billboards, online advertising, print, all of that usual stuff. Client acquisition for insurance companies is very expensive. But at DuePoint, you will not see our logo outside of this building. We don't do a cent of advertising or marketing. None of it. We rely on our wealth engineers, word of mouth, for people to find out about DuePoint. And so instead of spending the billions that the insurance companies spend on marketing and advertising, we take that portion of the premium and we pay it to you, to our wealth engineers, in the form of returns and rewards. Okay, so I hope that explains that. You might be wondering what the products are. We know they don't smell after 6 months. Fresh forever, the products. We have 3 products. They've been designed to work together, to collaborate with one another, so you can take out one product or all 3. Okay? The first product is an investment product called Access Wealth. It is 299 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested for you in your name in an investment, in a tax-free investment fund. Okay? Plus, we give you 100,000 Rand, now 110,000 Rand, personal accident cover. So if you have this investment, something happens to you, we will pay your beneficiaries 110,000 Rand plus whatever's in that investment. So this is the investment product. The second product is strictly an insurance product called Wealth Guard, 274 Rand a month. This time you get 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Okay? The beauty of our personal accident cover is accessible to everybody over the age of 18. So you can be 75, you can be diabetic, you can have a heart condition that is still 274 and you still get the benefit of 1.1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Okay? So this is the insurance product. Product number 3 is a retail loyalty type product. It allows you to save money on the money you're spending every month. So also 274, you retain 100 Rand, we keep it for you in the form of wealth points, and you get to enjoy all our partners that we have in this program. And when you spend money with these partners, you save money. So we've got some awesome partners. We're all spending a fortune on groceries. There's ShopRite Checkers. You get to save on your entire trolley every time you go shopping at ShopRite Checkers. We've got the Entertainer, over 1.2 million Rands in savings, and buy one, get one free vouchers, access to restaurants around the country, hotels around the world, spas, golf, live events, right? We've got all these partners. We are adding new partners all the time. If you want immediate value out of any of our products, this is the product to have. Those are the 3 products. If you have any more questions on them, come speak to me afterwards. Okay? Fairly straightforward. I remind you of the support that you get here at DuePoint. We are not going to send you into the wilderness on your own to fend for yourself and be effective. We want you to lean into the support here at DuePoint because we offer all this support. We live stream all our events around the country so you can build your channel outside of Gauteng. The facilities that we've spent millions on, here for you. Come do your presentations here. Have meetings in the boardroom. Use all the free Wi-Fi. Drink the free tea and coffee. Use the breakout rooms. We've got iPads. You can even set up strategy meetings with Brendan and myself. We will help you be successful in this business. Okay, so lean into that support. Throwdown Thursday. This is where Brendan's going to come up. If you're still harboring any questions in your mind, I think Brendan's going to answer them for you now. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob's used up all the time as usual, so I've only got 5 minutes to tackle the most important part of the evening, which is answering the questions about the business. Folks, we run this evening, this Thursday evening, once a month with a specific purpose of answering the questions that ring in the minds of everybody. In South Africa today, we are so damaged by the schemes and companies that have kind of come and gone and taken our money and ruined lives and taken pensions and run away. And you read about them in newspapers, and they've got names and shapes and all of this sort of stuff. And people these days will look at something like this, which is a legitimate direct selling organization, and go, you're the same as them. You're the same as them. And we have to deal with that, and we do it once a month. So you're at a very special presentation. I'll throw it on Thursday. We do different formats of it, but effectively tonight I want to tackle those questions I know are in your mind right now. I know they are. They're the ones that everybody thinks, and it's because of how we've been trained. So, having heard everything Rob has to say, I know, using my psychic powers, that the first question that is burning in your head, or at least the one you want to give your friend to get out of this, is, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. Am I right? That's the one. Especially if you look like me. If you look like me, your first answer is that's a pyramid scheme. Okay, now, unfortunately, as soon as you think that something's a pyramid scheme, it usually stems out of ignorance. Now, I don't want to insult anyone by saying that, but it really does. Around the world, people say it's a pyramid scheme without knowing what a pyramid scheme is. Pyramid scheme is, in fact, legislated. It's in the Consumer Protection Act. It is defined there in a long, page-long definition of what a pyramid scheme is. If you really want to accuse something of being a pyramid scheme going forward, just look it up. Look it up, read it, understand it, and then you'll realize that DuPoint, along with all the other legitimate direct selling companies in South Africa, are not pyramid schemes. The fact that they have a channel construction as part of them is neither here nor there. The wonderful freedom that we give you at DuPoint is that you do not lose in the process. That is what makes a pyramid scheme. A pyramid scheme is where you have to buy in before you have earned anything out. And that means you lose. It means the vast majority of people lose because they're putting money in and getting nothing out. Especially when they ask you to put it into something that's online. As soon as it's online, you know it's gone. Poof, your money is gone. That is not what happens here. No money will part from your hands this evening. None whatsoever. There is no cost to being a wealth engineer. Simply owning a Constantia insurance or investment product, which in itself has value, has a package deal that allows you to be a wealth engineer for no cost. So there is no loss in the process of being a wealth engineer at DuPoint, and therefore we're immediately not a pyramid scheme. In addition, of course, if you look at the amount of regulation that runs this business, we're a licensed insurance company. We have members of the FSB, that's the government's financial service board, that sit on our board. They sit on our board. They watch what we're doing. How on earth could we just launch this massive organization under their noses without them realizing? Because it's legitimate. We've had the Good Law Review Project review us. Took a year, 12 months of reviewing DuPoint. They then went to 4 government departments and gave their findings to those departments. We're still here. Seems like we're legit. Folks, if I can just take away the concern or the excuse that you may have, this is not a pyramid scheme. This is a legitimate direct selling company, and what we've done is we've made it a 21st century direct selling company, which means you don't have stock, you don't have paper application forms, you don't have complicated compensation schemes. It's dead simple, open cards, system of convenience at your fingertips. You can do it anywhere, anytime in the country. All right, that's the first one. The second one that we get when that one fails is people only lose in these sorts of things. Well, I've already explained to you there's no loss. There's no starter kit that you have to buy. There's no startup fee that you have to pay. There's nothing. What you will lose is time. You've got a little bit of spare time right now. Well, you're going to have to spend that little bit of spare time. But that time that you spend, you will buy back time at the end. The two things the DuPoint system does is it sets you financially free, and later on it sets you time free. Time where you are free to spend your money without anxiety. That cannot be created in anything you're doing right now. If you are sitting here right now and going, look, I'm just not going to do this, the question is, well, what are you doing right now? You have to, because you are stuck right now. You may or may not realize it, but you are imprisoned in the economic systems of the world right now. You have to make a decision somewhere along the line to change that. The other one, the common one, it's the, now we're scrambling. We failed on the pyramid scheme one. We failed on the I'm going to lose money one. And now you're panicking to get your friend out the room. And you say to them, well, I don't have time for this. Well, welcome to the club of I don't have time. If you have a full-time job, you do not have time for anything. Gone are the 9 to 5 days, guys. Gone are they. We know it. Who works 9 to 5 anymore? All of us are working 8, 10, 12, 14 hours a week every week. Nobody has time. So that's not a legitimate excuse. The power of duplication and leverage that we have built into our system allows you to take those 1 hour a week that everybody has and turn it into 1,000 hours a week that works for your channel. That will ultimately set your time free. But if you continue to do what you're doing right now, you will never have time. Right up to the day they say, we don't want you in our company anymore. And then you'll have all the time in the world and no financial freedom. That's the reality. Rob and I are not up here marketing to you. All we do when we stand up here is tell you the facts. The facts we often want to ignore or call marketing. That's what we do. We call it marketing because we don't want to accept its facts. It's facts, guys. And we have to start making changes. We have to. We have to become determined to change our lives. Because everything we've done so far has gone down the drain. How many hours a week do you spend on your job? 40, 60, 80 hours a week? But when we say, spend an hour a week with DuePoint and we'll change everything, you go, I don't have the time. But you're willing to spend 40, 60, 80 hours on something that is doing nothing for you. It puts the food on the table, but kind of slowly bleeds you dry. That you're willing to spend 40, 60, 80 hours on, but you don't have time for this. It is not a valid excuse. We don't care what job you have. We have very senior jobs. You'll see, it's 7:30 at night, and I'm here every night at this time. I don't have time, but I'm building freedom through this by sowing time in now to reap it later. That's what we're doing. Get that in your heads. That is not a valid excuse for not doing this. I really have a great job and a good career. This is usually what young people tell me. Shame, young people are still invincible. They're still invincible. Shame. And you know what it's like? I mean, I was there once upon a time. I remember a guy calling me for an American distribution company when I was about 19. I was studying to be a chartered accountant and a lawyer at the time. I was invincible. I was like, I am going to be amazing. I'm going to get these 2 massive qualifications. Nobody's going to touch me. And he called me. And I was like, why would I need that? I am going to be great. I'm going to have my own rabbit warren window and cubicle, and I'm going to be great. Why would I need that? Well, 20 years later, and I look at that phone call and go, damn, I should have started when I was 19. I should have. Imagine what I'd be like now 20 years later. I wouldn't be standing here. I wouldn't be standing here. Folks, you realize in the first 2 decades that you work, that only 0.5% are going to make it to CEO. Everyone else is going to earn enough just to put the food on the table. That's it. You're never going to be in control of your income. You are never going to choose what bonus you get. You're never going to choose what increase you get. You're never going. 0.5% will. And it doesn't matter how good you think you are. You are more likely to be struck by lightning. You are. You are. There's 51 million people in South Africa and 1,000 CEOs earning more than R1 million a year. You are not going to be one of them. You really aren't. And if you are, buy a lottery ticket at the same time. Okay? Because it's your lucky day, man. It is not going to happen. What is going to happen to the other 99.5% of us, and I realized this very quickly when I started working, was that I would, for the rest of my life, work for someone else and eke out an existence. And I was unwilling to do that. Unwilling. And you should become unwilling to carry on wasting year after year after year at something that will never be a good job and a great career. It just won't. Even if you're the CEO today, if you get sick or run over by a bus and you're in hospital, your income stops at that moment. Even if it was 500,000 Rand a month, it stops at that point. And you can never get it back in. That is not what the DuePoint system does. The DuePoint system creates that recurring income that when you're in hospital for 6 months, it keeps paying. When you want to take a holiday, it keeps paying. When you lose your job, it keeps paying. That's what it does, and that's the freedom that we're creating here. And then, of course, the products are not good enough. It's more like clutching at straws now. We're getting desperate. We've had this a couple of times. No, I can get a much better investment product elsewhere. Yeah, you probably could. We don't sell Rolls Royces here. Okay? We don't. You can get a better one. It'll be much more expensive. And, of course, it doesn't allow you to become a wealth engineer. It does not come with the life-changing financial freedom and time freedom that we offer here. So, sure, go and get it. It's not paying you anything, okay? It's awesome. If you got the money, spend it. Our products, however, are incredibly innovative. Our investment product took me 9 months to put together, and in fact was based off of 45 years of experience in the market that my dad had. Contacts. You know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I managed to get a UK-based fund management company, one of the best in the world, to agree to allow us to invest 100 Rand a month each into an account. Do you know what that is in pounds? It's like minus 10 pounds. I got them to agree that we would do that on a mass scale using a Sanlam investment. I had to go to Sanlam and get them to do it. Using an administrator, a global fund administrator, who's the only independent fund administrator in the country. I got all three of those parties together so that for 299 Rand, you can be part of the biggest and best fund managers in the world. And then you tell me your product's not good enough. It's clutching at straws. It's clutching at straws. You're now looking at it for excuses to do it. Folks, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for us to get out of what we're used to. We've been indoctrinated in an industrialization type of education which says you need a good job or start your own business. Oh, you can't start your own business? Well, then go and become a factory worker. That's what it says. We're in that. So when someone comes to you and says, listen, there's another way you can earn income, you go, no. There must be something wrong with it because they never taught it to me at school. No, you will find now in the 21st century that this is no longer the case. Right now, direct selling is the fastest growing industry in the world because people are going, hang on a second, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be a slave to my job anymore. I want to be free and independent. I want to take the risk of taking the step out, putting people in front of me and taking charge of my income into the future. That's what I want. Folks, then the last one is these businesses come and go. Yes, unfortunately they do. It kills us. It's like heretics for us. It's like those that just let us down. These things, the instrument of direct selling is so powerful that the temptation of those that would rob us is too great. They have to use it. They have to. It's like we got a guy in Russia in prison, and he goes, you know what I'm going to do? I can't do it in Russia, but I can do it in South Africa, and I can do it in South America, and I can do it. No. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get people to give me their money, and I'm going to promise them this virtual currency that one day will be just amazing. It'll take over from all the currencies. They're going to give me their money, though, first. What mechanism should I use? Direct selling. It works. And so what happens is we all get tarnished with the same brush, and then he disappears, and then he's taken hundreds of thousands, hundreds of millions of rands out of us. And all that. And then that's just one example. There's lots of these things that come and go, and it gives us a bad name. Folks, we're a 70-year-old insurance company. Look at the capital that's been spent here. Okay, I own my own insurance company, Primary and Direct, down the road, you know. It's one of the top 5 biggest short-term insurance companies in the country, partnering with Constantia to build DuePoint. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. You might be going somewhere. You might be saying, I'm out of here. That's fine. We're not going anywhere. What we're doing is we're changing lives forever. I'm very passionate about this. As you get to know me, you will know. I'm not doing DuePoint because I need to make a profit. I've already got an insurance company making a profit. I'm doing this because no one else is helping my country. No one else. I don't care who you believe in. They're not helping our country. We are going to help our country. We can't do it with votes. We can't do it with politics. We can do it economically. And we're doing it here. And you're going to build it with me. I'm not going to build it for you. That's what we're doing here. And so, yes, they do come and go. And maybe the government doesn't like what we're doing and passes a law and all direct selling in South Africa is shut down. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. There's something we could all do about that then. We'll know what to do that day. But I can't control that. But our endeavor here is a lifetime endeavor. And that's what we're doing. So that's the best I can do with regard to that answer. And then network marketing is embarrassing. I mean, I had somebody mentioning today they'd been talking to someone and someone just said, I'm not a network marketer. Well, the fantastic news is you don't have to be a network marketer at DuePoint. We've got rid of all the network marketing issues. There's no carrying the stock around. There's no doing, makeup presentations. There's no any of the embarrassing stuff. There's no having to go to some guy to do a presentation who's really not that good at it. He's quite embarrassing, actually, when he does the presentation. There's none of that. We've got the best presenters. We've used live streaming. You can put us in your room. Every time you want a presentation, we can be in your room doing it for you. You don't even have to be good at it. There's no network marketing in DuePoint. It is simply a connection of people to us, and we do the work for you. We do the work for you. So you don't have to be embarrassed. And if you feel like your name is your brand, you've got to ask yourself the question, is my brand making any money? Because a brand makes money. So if your name is not making any money for you, you don't have a brand. You don't have to worry about tarnishing it. Okay? Because it wasn't making you any money in the first place. So I speak mainly to those of my pigmentation when I say get over yourselves. Get over yourselves. Do you wish to remain in economic prison because you're embarrassed? Or do you want to be free? There's nothing like returning to your friends who scorned you in your new Maserati. There's nothing like that. You know, where did you get it from? Well, you know that thing you thought was so embarrassing and you ridiculed me about? That is what paid for this car. That's what it is. Now, yes, you may not get to the Maserati because you may give up along the way. Doesn't say that the tool doesn't do it for you. This tool that we place in your hands will do this for you if you can step out and do something that you're not used to and in the beginning not comfortable. So, folks, those are the most common things that we hear. It's the most common. And I tell all of my wealth engineers, you're going to hear these over and over again. Just get used to it, okay? Because we have stigma from those that have come before and ruined our brand. We're tarnished with them, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to believe it. Tonight you can believe that what we have done is created a tool that will cost you nothing this evening. You'll take it away, and you'll have a great product with it, one of the what we think is best in market products with it. And you can go out there and start changing your life forever. That's what we want you to believe. That's what we want you to do. Is it going to be hard? You betcha. You betcha it's going to be hard. You're going to work for 5 years with us. And 5 years from now, you'll be earning 100,000 Rand a month. Is it worth it for 5 years? Did the last 5 years of your employment get you to 100,000 Rand? The last 20 years of your employment? No. So it's worth it, isn't it? Isn't it worth a bit of risk? A little bit of that free time you're wasting right now, we'll try and convert it into some money for you. That's what we're going to do. So, folks, if you do choose to become a wealth engineer with us this evening, it's very simple. You've got to go out, fill out our application form. It's online, surprise, surprise, no paper applications. You can use your smartphone or tablet, hook up into our free Wi-Fi. The codes and passwords are outside. Or use our iPads outside. If you're watching us live, you also know how to do it, our website or the app on your phone. Folks, fill out the application form. It's going to take 5 minutes. You're a wealth engineer. You will get a W number. That is the birth of your asset, your channel. You don't go into some structure that you've read about in the newspaper. That's not what happens. It's your asset. It's the birth of your asset, and you can start building from that moment forward with us. Once you've done that, I want you to talk to the person who brought you here this evening, your lead wealth engineer. And I want you to tell them what your goal is. Is it 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand a month? Tell them what that first step is, the one that's going to let you breathe again. And then work out a plan with the DuePoint system to get there. Because if you don't, 5 years from now, you'll be earning nothing. This is not a guarantee system. It's a tool. And the guarantee is use the tool, and it will change your life. If you don't use it, you're not going to get there. So have a goal, have a plan. Folks, on the 11th of February this year, which is just a few weeks away now, or a few days away now, is the biggest event on DuePoint's calendar. It's our annual conference. That's where you'll see how we're impacting the South African economy. You will see how across the country people are changing their lives with DuePoint. We want you to be there. It's 500 Rand a ticket, but it's all day, just about, and it's a 3-course meal, and it's all your drinks included. So at the worst, you're going to get a great meal and lots of drinks. That's the worst case, okay? But we are going to put on our best dancing shoes for you, and it is going to be amazing. Can I promise you, when I see what we're going to do there, it makes the hair in the back of my neck stand up. It's going to be amazing. You need to be there. And you need to be there with your guests. Now, we've added a couple of tables, so we've got a few free tickets left. Not free, few available tickets left. Get them now. Get them now. Next week, they'll be gone, and you can't come. Okay? Either guys watching live, use your app or the website to buy them, or call into client services. If you're here, buy it at reception tonight. Get your tickets. Be there. It's the biggest event of the year that we're going to be having. You want to see what's happening. Then, folks, we run short-term wealth quests. They run every month. Every month they're different. They're also designed into our training program, our XP Rewards training program, to teach you how to build your channels properly and to reward you quickly in the efforts that you put in. Folks, this month's Wealth Quest, which lasts just from the 1st to the 28th of February, just a month, says that if you can put someone on your first point this month, and bring them to the conference and get them qualified, you'll get your own iPhone and a ticket to next year's conference. So you think it's 500 Rand now, there's going to be more next year. You've booked it, you don't have to pay to come to next year's conference, and of course you're getting your own iPhone. Go away and work out how much an iPhone's worth. Okay? Just one. Just one. All you have to do is find just one person, bring them to the conference, and get them qualified this month, and it's yours. Every month these are different. Some months it's an iPad, some months it's a smart TV, some months it's cash. Every month it's different, all there to keep you building a future you cannot build at your employment. Folks, if you become a wealth engineer this evening, I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's DuePoint channel. By doing that, your phone will ping every time we go live. And as Rob said, we present Monday to Saturday out of here. Every one of our presentations is live. You'll know when we're live. It means you can sit with people, show them DuePoint right at that moment. It's also got all of our training videos on, previous introduction presentations, testimony videos, everything you need. Please subscribe to it. And then, of course, download our app. It's free. Use our Wi-Fi. Get it on your phone. Get it on your tablet. It plugs you straight into your channel, live and in real time. You know what's going on. Folks, we're very serious about what we do here. We're very serious. We are not messing around at DuePoint. We are going to change our country and change lives in our country with what we're doing here. We want you to be part of it. It's going to be hard work, but it is going to be amazing. If you have questions, if still you have concerns, we're here. Come and ask us. I promise you, Rob and I are both blessed with the spiritual gift of opinion. We can give you an answer for any question. Any question you want, we'll answer it. We're here. Make sure you don't walk out of here having left behind something that can change your life forever. Do not do that. It's not an expense. This is not a loss-making exercise. It's a life-changing exercise. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for Throwdown Thursday this month. Thank you. And thanks for watching us live, guys.